Greg Mortenson is a former mountain climber, best-selling author, humanitarian, and philanthropist. His nonprofit organization, the Central Asia Institute, is dedicated to promoting education, especially for girls, in remote parts of Pakistan and Afghanistan, and according to its website, has established more than 140 schools there. President Obama donated $100,000 to the group from the proceeds of his Nobel Prize. Mortenson's book, 3 Cups of Tea, has sold more than 4 million copies and is required reading for U.S. servicemen bound for Afghanistan.
Thank you for letting me share a little bit about Greg Mortenson and what I've learned about him and how it's applicable to what we're learning now. Born in December 1957 in Minnesota, he moved to Tanzania when he was just 3 months old with his parents, who were missionaries for the Lutheran Church. At 15, they moved back to the United States. He went to school, played football, and then decided he didn't have enough money saved for college. So he went right into the Army out of school, and he became a medic. After the Army, he went to college in Minnesota, where on an athletic scholarship he played football. He graduated from the University of South Dakota with a degree in chemistry and in nursing. He is, as it was said earlier, loves the outdoors and an avid mountain climber. This is a picture of him getting ready to go up K2. K2 was an experience for him that he wanted to do for his sister who had passed away. And in trying to go up to the top, actually was not able to make it because of the circumstances there. As he made his descent, he lost his way and wasn't able to find the people he came with. Near death, he says in his book, he actually found a little town of Corfe. They took care of him, helped him to get better, helped him to be strong so he could leave. And as he was leaving or going through the town, he noticed that the children had no slates, no anything to do schoolwork with. They could only draw with things in the sand. And so he decided then, and he told them, I am going to build a school for you, and I'm going to come back and do it. And that's where his New York Times bestseller, 3 Cups of Tea, starts from, and the premise of the book, how he went ahead and started to promote peace, he felt, one school at a time in that area, and then on to stones into schools. He and his wife in 1995 went and started a non-for-profit called CAI, Central Asian Institute, and there they would actually have programs to help others to donate money so they could send it over to these schools to help them with the education that they need in these war-torn areas. Unfortunately, as time has gone on, we have found that there are some things that may be amiss with Greg Mortenson and his non-for-profit. 60 Minutes did a show on him in 2011, along with investigative journalist John Krakauer. John is known for doing quite a few extensive investigative journalism stories. He actually donated first to Greg Mortenson early on and was full in, loved what he was doing with CII and his non-for-profit. Came to find out a few years later that there were quite a few things amiss. So between 60 Minutes and John, they were able to come up with some things to share that solidify some of their concerns. First is the truthfulness about the schools, how they're made, how they're built, and how many there are actually there. 60 Minutes went over and in a few months found 30 of the schools. Half were working in fine repair. The other half were in disrepair and had not been used and were abandoned and left for other things like hay and growing spinach and cattle or animals. So that shows that the 140 schools they say they have, we are not even sure if they know what schools they have. Next, it was the funds that are donated by investors. Their investors are hoping that money goes to the schools and to the children. They're finding out that probably upwards of $2 million or more a year actually goes right to Mortenson for his book tours and his speaking engagements. Yet he gives none of his royalties from his books or any of the money he makes from his speaking engagements back to the charity, which of course we find that that is not a great way to allocate your funds and that the charity is not getting what they should, but it is all going to Mortenson. And lastly, should it 3 Cups of Tea, his novel, be fiction or nonfiction? There are a few things in there that the timeline was off, as he said. He did not find Corfe, that little town, until a year later, and he said he was with people who were from the Taliban. Turns out those people were not Taliban, and they are now suing him. So, is he a goat? Is he the one who should be blamed for cause and fault or defeat? Is Greg Mortenson a goat or a hero? We'll let John Krakauer tell you how he feels, as that's how I feel.
I mean, let's be clear. He has done a lot of good. He has helped thousands of school kids in Pakistan and Afghanistan. He has become perhaps the world's most effective spokesperson for girls' education in developing countries, and he deserves credit for that. Nevertheless, he is now threatening to bring it all down, to destroy all of it by this fraud and by these lies.